This is Crowding the Fantasy League week two recap and week three preview. And yeah, we're just going to go straight into Fantasy A&E with Thomas. What's going on injury wise?
Oh my God, there's so much going on injury wise. This has been an absolute shit show of injuries coming into the NFL. What is it? It's week three, and you've already got Carson Wentz versus
Jake Browning. Oh,
Browning.
yes.
And so like those are two quite hyped QBs coming in. But injury news, here we go. Obviously, the big one, and you mentioned this the other day, Joe Burrow, he's out with turf toe. Now, I was like, what on earth is turf toe? Turns out that's actually quite a serious injury. Uh,
Yeah, who knew? Because Shelley was like, is he going off with like a sore toe? I've like broken my toe before and it's completely fine. I was like, yeah, I think it's more serious than that.
I honestly had the exact same reaction. I was like, he's going off because he stubbed his toe.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like, so yeah, he's out. He's out for 3 months. And I
yeah.
think there's some really fun speculation here. You've got Browning who's coming in, who actually played really well in that game. He gave Jamar
He's
Chase the
he-
ball
he's
a
a
lot.
gunslinger. He's like a Brett
He's a
Favre kind of just like chucks it.
and it is funny because now I'm seeing all the news, and it's a lot of fancy NFL people and just NFL fans are wanting Jameis Winston to
Oh,
become the Browns.
yeah, to
Because
be to be
honestly,
to be traded to the Bengals, yeah.
if you give him that running back and those two wide receivers, he's going to go for 6,000 yards, 60 TD, and about 75 interceptions.
Yeah,
It is,
yeah, yeah, that
it
that
is
is so
going to be
true.
glorious to watch. But then also,
What
injury
was
news.
it? Yeah, yes, sorry. So somebody had said preseason. I'd seen a funny video that this guy, I forget who it was. Wish I could give credit, but it was basically like Jameis Winston shouldn't be a backup quarterback. He should be the backup quarterback. He should just be
Yeah,
in like a hub somewhere in Central America and just any team gets an injury. Josh Allen goes down. We fly Jameis
yeah.
Winston to Buffalo
James
and
was
he
going to be out
plays
there.
for the Bills. Yeah,
But
it
is
would
it,
be
would that be a
hilarious.
first come, first serve basis, or is it just the most exciting team gets him?
Oh God. It'd probably first come, first serve on like a Sunday, but I think you should just open it up where you can play Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every night.
I think that would be the
He's not
only thing.
attached to a team.
But yeah, but no. So interesting news, injury news. But on that, Joe Burrow is out for expected 3 months. This is potentially bringing him back towards the end of the season. And I saw an interesting thing today. If the Bengals are able to win up to 7 games and Joe Burrow's back in a good, healthy manner, if they win those last 3 games of the season, they still might make the playoffs. Injury news that we already know, but Brock Purdy was ruled out week 2. So this is due to his injuries, again to his toe and unthrown shoulder, but he's going to be out for a few weeks as well. Justin Fields went into concussion protocol, so he is down. He did not have a good thing, but his status in week 3 is going to be uncertain. But Tyrod Taylor is going to take over in the meantime as well. But that Jets offense, it didn't look like it stung the way it did in week 1, so I would be a bit hesitant on any of the backup
Yeah,
QBs.
like the only positive would be like again when Tyrod Taylor came in, at least he was targeting Garrett Wilson a lot. So again, this is like the Jake Browning thing that I was saying. Like he came in and he just peppered the ball to
Yeah.
Chase and Higgins. If Tyrod Taylor comes in and just throws like 15 targets to Wilson, he's probably going to have a bit of production. So it's
He might,
it's not
he
all
might,
that.
because he wasn't having that much with. He had a little bit, but he wasn't having too much with
Well,
Fields in the mix there.
Taylor will probably throw the ball more than Fields did in the first couple of games anyway. So
I think Taylor could be the better QB for them. But then moving on to running backs, what we've got Austin Eckler. We knew he was torn his Achilles on Thursday Night Football. He is now out for the season. That his season over. But that is good news for the backup rookie running back, Bill, who
yeah,
has been a big fantasy driver. He did have a disappointing turnout, but that Green Bay defense turns out to be the real deal. But keep an eye out and pick him up if he's in your league. Will Shipley for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's out week 2, oblique injury. But this is actually quite good for any of the Bigsby fans. This might actually give him some little bit more production. He is still behind AJ Dillon, but he's no longer fourth on that depth chart. He's now coming up to third. So there we go. So might see some production there. Wide receiver news, you've got Christian Kirk. Kirk is out for week 2 with a hamstring injury, so he was out. So this is a second straight game missed. So keep an eye on that injury because it might be a continued one. Um, Chris Godwin, he missed week 2. Again, the ankle injury is coming up. But if you've got any of those Bucks other wide receivers, Evans, Ibuka, going to be a good one. Jalen Reed suffered a fractured collarbone and is headed to injury reserved. He is
Yeah,
going to
it's like the
not
next four
miss
games
it.
at least.
Yeah. And then obviously we know about Xavier Worthy and Juwan Jennings as well. Both of them sort of questionable, missing out on this. I know we haven't done one of these, but like, tight ends, injury news, George Kittle, he's out. He's still going to miss some decent amount of time. But then also Brock Bowers was questionable. He was expected to play week 2, and he did play week 2. But just keep an eye on that going forward. But that is the injury roundup for week 2 going into week 3.
Yeah, you see, like the Bowers one was interesting because thinking about tips to give people for fantasy leagues, um, because he was questionable and he was a game time decision, and his game was the second game on Monday night. As a fantasy fan, you're left going like, right, what do I do with Bowers? Because you can't
Yeah,
bench Brock Bowers if he plays, because then if he plays, he didn't have a great game, but he's potentially the tight end one.
exactly.
Um, but you also don't want to risk putting him in your starting lineup and then he doesn't play. So if you do have like any flexibility in your bench at all, try your best to pick up a tight end that's playing in that late game as well, whether it's like Will Disley for the Chargers would have been a good option, or Michael Mayer as the backup for the Raiders, for example. So just if that ever happens with your running back, with your tight end, with your quarterback, whatever, that's the only thing you can do.
I suppose it's hard at that stage as well because all your rest of your team might have played, and you don't want to drop Brock Bowers
Yeah,
because of his questionable status. So, yeah,
yeah.
look at your depth
It's
chart, look at who you
especially
can drop.
yeah, especially if your game's on the line. Say you're going into Monday night needing like 5 points to win, and you've got Bowers sitting there, and you're like, right. Particularly, like it's different for US fans because the game starts at like 8 or 9 o'clock
Normal
at
times.
night. For
Yeah.
us, it starts at like 3 in the morning. So you're
Oh,
like,
God.
I could go to sleep with Bauer sitting in my tight end spot and wake up in the morning and he doesn't play and I lose by 5 points. Um,
I must
it's
admit, I quite liked the 3 o'clock kickoff in the morning in the UK because I woke up at like 4:30 and got to see the second half of the game. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is
There'll
great.
there'll be some.
I like one of our friends posted up in a fancy NFL chat that he was going to do that. I was like, that actually
You're like,
worked out really well.
and you were like, that's the plan. That is the
That is
game
a
plan.
good plan.
Also, well, to like put a better kind of point on it, like Sleeper has introduced something I think last year, and they still use it this year. I don't think any other platform really uses it, as far as I know, is that auto sub kind of feature. So if your league uses an auto sub feature, you can put Bowers into your starting lineup and have an auto sub. So even if he doesn't play, somebody else who's already played will jump into the into the lineup.
Oh,
Potentially, it's just so people don't lose silly
that's
points. But I know some
interesting.
leagues that play
I
with that.
wonder, I wonder how many leagues do actually play with that because I like the sort of amount of detail you have to go into and just awareness you have to be. But I
Yeah,
suppose if you got a
I
load of
use it.
people
I
who
think I use
mind
it in the
control,
Dynasty League. I think I use it in the Dynasty League.
do you?
It's no, or I think I've kept it on as a feature in the Dynasty League just
Hmm.
because I think it.
I think you
Trying
do
to
keep
think.
it on in the Dynasty League because I remember I think I was playing against one of your who was I playing against? I can't remember who they were now. But they had people who were out and not playing.
And they just
And
like
then whenever I saw the matchups, I'd lost. I was like, how? They definitely didn't have these. Yeah, no, that feature needs to get switched off. I hate that feature. That is a stupid feature, and no one
um,
likes it.
it's just an interesting one. If you play in like a more casual league, like I know some people in the Dynasty League or whatever are maybe just a bit less. Maybe they're not just as savvy with the sport. Maybe they're in it because their spouse is in it or whatever. So it just helps keep people interested without like screwing them over for not paying attention to every little
I don't know
thing.
how this is going to sound on the audio, but that's what I think of that.
Yeah, that sounded pretty good. Obviously, if you're a dedicated fantasy fan like Thomas, turn
Yeah,
it off.
turn it off.
Oh
Everybody's
dear, dear,
mistakes
dear.
their own. you know, I also don't agree with vetoing sometimes. Don't like that.
Yeah, unless it's egregious. Like I've seen
Yeah,
some
unless
trades
it's
pop
someone.
in that are just horrendous, and you're like, right, this is obviously like somebody scamming.
I've seen some
Yeah.
people just try and fire off a load of really bad trades, hoping that someone's going to press the wrong button. Now That's bad. That's bad etiquette. That
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
for me, that's poor showing right there.
So no, the commissioner, I kind of have it. I have the veto always set as commissioner, and that's partly because I'm commissioner in most of my leagues.
Mm.
So I'm like, I've got the say, but it just stops all that like bickering in the background. Like I
Yeah.
say something and it's final kind of thing, and nobody really bats an eye. But I haven't had to veto a trade ever that I remember. So
No.
hopefully I
I,
don't have to
I
have
think
to
there was
do
a veto in the first season. In the very first season we played Fancy NFL, I think there was a veto in the first trade that I think we ever tried to do. And this was Fergie was trying to get, who was it? But he was going to trade DeAndre Hopkins and Marshawn Lynch. Now, this is Marshawn Lynch and DeAndre Hopkins, like breakout
yeah,
seasons,
like in their
like the
prime. This is
huge,
like
the
beast
huge
mode.
days.
Yeah.
And I think he was trying to get someone who was a well recognized player before. I can't remember who they were, a well
Yeah.
recognized player before. So it was like we said it was unfair because Fergie was trying to scam someone. And
Yeah, but in hindsight, yeah. I mean,
that led to Fergie winning the lead. And I was just like, we know nothing about American football.
yeah,
We
yeah. This is it.
yeah.
Back in the day when we were only just starting out and we were like,
This
oh, this is a bad trade, and it's like, no, it was actually quite
in
quite
hindsight, it
beneficial.
was a great trade. Like
Yeah,
you traded me Debo Samuel this year.
I did. And I got Travis Hunter who
You
stank
got
up the
Travis.
joint. I gave you a first as well. So
I will say this
yeah,
about
bad
Travis Hunter.
trades.
That was never a pass interference call in the last in
No,
that. That was
and
never a pass interference
coming
call.
from like I coach DBs. That is how I coach DBs to play that. One hand on, you look back, you bat the ball.
It
Perfect,
wasn't.
perfect.
He wasn't holding him. He wasn't pulling him
No,
back. It was a little bit. It was a little bit of hand fighting, but no. And
yeah,
then okay, maybe he looked back a second late, but he still broke up the ball.
yeah. At the end
And
of the day, like those are the kind of calls that. Why I said this to Shelley the other day. Not only are these the kind of calls that they were trying to eliminate with the pass interference review, but they're the kind of calls that bad teams just we just get them all the time. Like
yeah,
we're never going to get the good side of that call. Like there was another moment earlier in the game where Devin Lloyd had intercepted Jake Browning, and he got tackled, but he rolled on top of Chase Brown. It was a similar like Miles Jack
yeah,
situation. He rolled and he landed on top of Chase Brown and landed back on his feet and ran into the end zone.
yes.
And for a good team, that's given us a touchdown, and they let it play out. For a bad team, the referee blows the whistle, and the play's dead. So we didn't get the touchdown. We end up not punching the ball in. They get the ball back, drive down the field, and win it with 19 seconds left. And that's just say bad teams, bad things happen.
Yeah, it's just unlucky. But I don't understand it because American football, they've got so many cameras. Why can they not have like an implemented like VAR thing? Why
Yeah,
does it have to be like four old dudes arguing around the sideline, being like,
yeah,
what happened there?
yeah. They talked about Skycam and all that kind of stuff years ago, but they still want to keep the human element to a certain degree, which I kind of agree with, but I say you have to live with the bad calls then if you're going to keep the human element about.
I just think if there's that human element to it, there's that sort of chance for what do you call it? Like just a not collusion and not corruption, but just like swaying the games in favor of the high power teams. As you said, bad teams are never going to get those calls, and
Yeah,
that's always going to stay if you keep that element in there.
yeah. But it's the same as like you bring VAR in and you bring even the video review in rugby that you bring in, and it starts off with good intentions, but it goes too far. Like rugby now, to me, is micro analyzing stuff and making judgment calls that they shouldn't really be making that
Hmm.
aren't, they're not egregious mistakes on the field, but they're these really subtle things that they've noticed in
Yeah,
camera. And it's the same with VAR and
I
football. So
suppose
you can
most of those that
microanalyze
they're
something.
talking about, the most of those that they talk about is like head contact and head injury.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's where they
that's a
make
big
guys, and
one.
I'm like, that's fair because that's safety. But if it's things like what I think they don't like forward passes, there's so many flat passes that are forward in rugby that
Oh
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, and they never get called or things like that or slight offside, stuff like that. So I don't think I think they've got the right balance of safety and not stopping a game.
yeah. It was
You know,
one. I think you were actually down at this game. It was the Argentina Ireland game down in
hmm,
Dublin, where it was something like it was a couple of minutes in, and there was a tackle on an Irish guy, and he dropped the ball, and Argentina got it back, and it was something
Yeah.
like 20 phases later, Argentina
Yes,
scored a try,
and then it was
and
brought
they
back.
brought it all the way back for that initial because there was
Yeah.
head contact in that tackle. To me, right,
That's
first of
too
all,
late.
first of all, 5 minutes had passed. They didn't put those 5 minutes back on the clock.
Mm-mm.
And secondly, it's 20 phases later. It's a whole
No.
different game at this point. So it's that kind of stuff that gets me with rugby. I think they've
But
almost rewind time too much. It just doesn't
and
make any sense.
it's the fact that they brought it back to that point and said, no, that try is not allowed. It really should have just been the try stands. That guy's going to get yellow carded, and we're where we're at. You know,
Yeah, yeah, we've missed it at the time because in reality, the video
Hind-
assistant should be
yeah,
watching it and going like immediately, ref, you need to look at
yeah,
this, flag it.
yeah, yeah, just
Um,
straight away. It
yeah.
needs to be called sooner. It can be called that late, but
So
yeah,
obviously wasn't that
this,
egregious a foul, otherwise it would have been caught at the time. So I
see,
don't know.
I reckon we could find faults in every single sports refereeing, every
Yeah.
single one.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
you look
look
at
at
you
tennis, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, the ball line thing in the
rugby,
tennis.
football, everything like that. I think we could, but American football, I think it does have, that call there. That was it. That was it. It's such a game affecting call.
Yeah.
That's a change of game call.
Saying this, I said this to Shelley as well. The Jags are really good at losing games, so we kind of
Mhm.
lost the game for ourselves before that because we'd gone for it on fourth down, and Brian Thomas had dropped it again because that's what he does at the moment.
What's up with
And
Brian Thomas? Why? Like
he,
he is not playing well.
if you
Like, I
if you watch him as well, I was saying this to Shelley. He's scared of contact. So
yeah,
Lawrence will throw the ball into the end zone, and he'll go up with one hand and like shy away from it and tip it. Never tip the ball for one thing. If you're a wide
no,
receiver, you never tip the ball. Tips get intercepted, and that's exactly what happened. And also, just like put your body
he
on the line. There's got to be a go up, grab that ball, and score the touchdown kind of
and take
design.
the hit. Yeah, and he takes his eye off the ball. I saw
Yeah.
like a play, and he was like, he was doing a route. He was looking at the ball, then he decided to look to see where anybody else was, and then came back and the ball's through his hands. I'm like, what are you
Yeah,
doing there?
he was targeted 12 times and had three drops and only four catches. So it's like it's just not good. Whatever's going on between Trevor and Brian Thomas or whatever,
And
you
Trevor
know.
waved.
Whereas De'Ami Brown
Trevor
and Parker Washington are going off for whatever reason.
and Trevor waving off his coach.
That was actually quite funny at the time because right he spins to the right and all that we really want to do is if we're going to
Yeah,
pass the ball we want to make sure that we catch it. So De'Ami Brown is wide open and he throws the ball and he throws it high and De'Ami Brown goes up and doesn't catch it because De'Ami Brown's got his limitations. Um, and the coach is saying is all that Liam Cohen's going is like hit him in the chest, hit him in the numbers. So Trevor Lawrence goes like, screw you. And it moves on to the next play, which is where we tried on fourth down with Brian Thomas situation, where Brian Thomas finds a pocket and the ball hits Brian Thomas in the numbers. And Lawrence is kind of like coming off the field afterwards, going like,
what more can I
I
do?
did what you wanted me to do.
Yeah, sort out your wide receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he can't win either way, but yeah, it's one of those things. I think it'll be all right.
Mm.
Anyway, this is not a Jacksonville Jaguars podcast.
But it can be because there's so much to talk about them.
Oh, jeez, that game was an absolute mess. But with that said, right, we will get into if I bring up the game picks on the screen, we can continue talking about the games.
Oh, yeah.
And we can like work through our yeah. I think we did the hits and misses first last time. But if you can see that on the screen,
Yes, it's up here.
awesome,
There we go.
awesome.
Look at that.
So I'm gonna move you away just a touch. And Thomas had a perfect week. Unbelievable.
There we
Look at
go.
that, including that like like Bengals over Jags in with 19 seconds to go, Cowboys over Giants with that Aubrey 64-yard kick.
And the funny thing
Eagles
is,
over Chiefs by 3 points. Like
yeah,
you were toeing the line,
I
sir.
was on the close games on that one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, that Chargers team, that's the real deal this year.
Mm. That
You
was a
know,
really good performance. Really good performance. They've got the
Chiefs-
Broncos at home next. That'll be a real tester for both those teams because really whoever wins that will have a real chance to take over the AFC West this year.
And I'm still so curious about that Colts team. Are the Colts actually good, or are they just playing like a rusty Broncos and a bad, and a
You know
bad?
what?
Who did they play the first week? Was it Giants?
Did you see how they won that game against the Broncos, though?
Yeah,
Did you see the kick at the end? No.
yeah,
Schrader, is that what you call the kicker? He kicks it wide right,
yes,
and they get called for leverage and 15-yard penalty. Colts kick it again,
yeah.
and they win the game by
They win the
one
game
point. So
again. Decision making call. It was leverage though.
I think so, but leverage is always one of those funny ones that refs
It's one of
will
those,
see it some of the time.
yeah, it's one of those
Um,
ambiguous rules.
yeah. But yeah, that's just one of those things. It's like the Eagles Chiefs. Okay, the Eagles beat the Chiefs, but if they're right, if they're not going to ban the tush push, they need to fix the tush push. Because did you see the last tush push that they won the game on, the fourth down conversion?
Everyone's talking about they're all
The
offside.
center, the center, right? The center isn't supposed to be over the ball. He's supposed to have the ball out in front of him, and he's supposed to have his head up. The center is so far over the ball, you can't see the ball on any cam. The guard is also in line with the center. Both guards, I think, are in line with the center, which is illegal. The what ends up happening is they go for the tush push, and in the scramble, the Chiefs player comes up with the ball at the bottom of the pile.
Mm.
So the ball was dropped at some point, but because you can't get a camera angle to suit the tush push, it means that you can't actually decide whether it was fumbled or not. So it might have been a fumble, it might have been the Chiefs' ball, but they can't decide it, so it's the Eagles' ball. It's unrefereeable, completely unrefereeable.
They're gonna need to bring something in for it. I did like the bit at the end with Chris Jones talking smack to Jalen Hurts.
Did
You
Jalen
haven't even
Hurts?
got
Yeah.
100 yards. I think he had 101.
Yes, it was. It was
Yeah,
something like passing the ball
unlucky.
seemed like 101 yards. It was
Yeah, unlucky
horrendous.
Chris.
But yeah, still, I like seeing a bit of smack being talked. Like,
Baker
do you see
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield wheeling out and he was going for the first down on like
Yeah,
I think it was a third or fourth down conversion, maybe a fourth down conversion, and Will Anderson of the Texans comes and tackles him, and he just about lunges and gets the first down. So Will Anderson's wheeling away, celebrating a sack, thinking he's got the stop, and Baker Mayfield goes up to him and says like, "First down." It's
it
just
was
such
the fact that Baker went down and he looked like he was injured, and then his like desire and
crazy.
drive for shit talking,
Yeah, I've
like
seen that one as well.
like
That was brilliant.
tore his ACL so he could get back up and dominate and do that first drive. Do you want to know an interesting stat about Baker?
No,
He
well,
is
go
like
ahead. Yeah.
he is the best QB in the past like 2 years. Since joining the Bucks, he has been the best QB in the league.
It's something, yeah, something like
Most
PFF
most,
grade number one or something. Yeah.
most TDs, most passing yards, like he is now making like a really really strong argument to being in a top five QB.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
make your
really
make your
really
MVP
strong.
claim. Let's go. You're 2-0. Just keep winning
I mean,
games.
with the way he played last season, he should have been MVP. Should have been, but
True.
no,
True.
can't let the
Um,
Bills beat the Chiefs, so we'll just give them an MVP. So yeah,
Let me see any more wild ones. Did you see right? So the Steelers lose to the Seahawks. So Adam gets that wrong. But
Mhm.
did you see the special teams gaff by the Steelers?
Yes,
Yeah, the
yeah.
the
It
the, the ball.
it
The
didn't
ball's kicked
understand the rules.
for anybody listening. The ball's kicked. It lands inside the 20, which is a legal kick,
Hmm.
and I think it was Caleb Johnson touches it, and it goes into the end zone, and he just
Yeah,
leaves it. And the,
yeah.
the Seahawks obviously sprint down, dive on top of it. It's a touchdown to the Seahawks. It's the weirdest thing.
I think that like, is there that because they changed the rules recently? Like, did he just forget what the rules were? Was it just like, oh, if it goes into the end zone, that's it. It's dead ball. We get it at the 35 or wherever it is.
Yeah, well, no,
But it's
even
also the
even
fact he
then,
touched it, like it hit his helmet as well.
yeah, even then. I think like I don't know AFI rules, in in Ireland in our
Hmm.
American football, that would probably have been given as a touchdown as well because you're told if the ball's in play, you go and play the ball. So you can't. a kickoff as soon as it goes past 10 yards, it's fair game. Like
But
anybody can get that
but
ball.
defenders aren't allowed to run until someone's caught the ball. Like
Or it
what?
lands in the what with those new rules, or if it lands in that safety zone. So as soon as it bounces at the inside the 20, it's fair game.
I'm not gonna lie, but that is gonna have to be an absolute flying defender to start running after that first bounce and get there before the end zone, which is
Oh yeah.
massively impressive. But that is a wild play.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely nuts. So that ends up that and a few other things cost the Steelers. The Steelers weren't very good, particularly on offense against the Seahawks. The Vikings Falcons now the Falcons might be much better than I'd anticipated. I've got to say, I think
How,
they've
like,
got
I
a
mean,
really good
with kind of
start.
the weapons the Falcons have, like they've got like a top, what was a top 10 wide receiver. They've got a top, you know,
Top
well,
five running back, top three running back, maybe.
top three running back. They've got a decent O line and defense. It's not as porous as like the Bengals. You
Yep.
know, they've got good substitutes, and they've also got like a decent and really athletic tight end and a good young quarterback. So I thought they were
Yeah.
gonna, like, maybe not so good, but I didn't think they were gonna be that bad.
But I think like the main thing is that they didn't haven't scored that many points the first couple of weeks. Their defense has been really good. Their defense against the Vikings was fantastic and has ended up injuring JJ McCarthy. But it's getting sacks from your I think both of their first round picks, Jalen Walker and James Pierce, I want to say is the other one, both got sacks in this game. So that's just a team that famously never had a pass rush now looks to have two quality
Yeah.
rushers, which changes the game.
Scary. Yeah.
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 We've already talked about the Broncos over the Colts, and sick about that. And yeah, FanDuel had their first loss as well,
Yeah.
which is good to see.
Everyone knew
Um,
the Patriots were going to win that game. Everybody knew it.
yeah,
Everybody
but
knew it.
again, did you see the Dolphins return a punt for a touchdown, and then
Yeah.
on the next play,
Next one.
Antonio Gibson returns a kick for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Superb. Absolute karma right there.
With Mike Vrabel running step for step with Antonio Gibson down the sideline, which is just crazy if you watch that clip. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
he put on a shift there. He was quick, wasn't he?
yeah, Vrabel was flying. Um, but yeah, apart from that, there were a lot of comfortable wins in there as well. Obviously, the Lions over the Bears was a massacre. You've got the Rams, Titans, the Ravens, Browns, Bills, Jets, all pretty comfortable.
I
Packers
think
come
I
out
think
most.
those I think those ones were pretty safe. I think the closest one was Packers versus Commanders. Now, you said it at the start of the season. Have teams figured out Daniels? Have they sort of caught up with him?
Well, this is it.
Or
Well,
is that is
I
that
could take credit for that, but Adam said that at the
is
start of the
is that
season.
oh,
He's
Adam
big
said
on
it,
that.
or is that Packers defense actually legit? The biggest shock to me was that Lions Bears. I thought that was going to be a lot closer. But dropping
Well,
51 points on that Bears team was
yeah, the Lions seemed personal. It seemed
it
personal.
did.
Did you see
Well, I mean, the chance that
the celebration, the touchdown
yeah,
celebration from the defense?
yeah,
The fumble
when they
Ruski
did it,
touchdown
yeah, the fumble
celebration.
Brewster, yeah,
Yeah, so it very much like Ben Johnson coming back into our house and we're going to teach him a lesson kind of thing. And they did. They pantsed him on live TV,
oh,
which yeah.
absolutely smashed them.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. That is crazy. I'm going to fix this because I've spelled Cardinals wrong. Carandles is not how you spell that, but there you go. Hopefully that's fixed.
we
Um,
do, we do have Adam and Nathan's picks here if we want to go for the next week.
yeah. I think this is. Oh, do you have Nathan's ones,
Well,
or are we going
Nathan
off
says that
FanDuel?
Nathan says all the picks that Adam's made are exactly the same as they are on FanDuel,
Oh,
apart
so
from
he's
one
yep,
that's different.
yep. So
Um,
so we'll just line that up
we'll just sort
in
it. Well, you
in
and I'll
in,
go
in the
for it.
order. I actually I can change this here so that we put it all in here
Yeah.
and just keep it going. So we're gonna go no fill. And first last week was, yeah, 4 out of 4. It was Thomas was number one last week. FanDuel still keeps serve over Adam just about, but that's because they beat him last week.
Mm.
And then we go Adam, and then I am dead last. I had a terrible week.
That is
Two,
unlucky. So
two, two, two out of 4, but still not good.
all right, I'm gonna go for the one which I think is gonna be the biggest domination is Bills versus Dolphins.
Bills versus, so you're going Bills
Bills over Dolphins. Bills over
over
Dolphins. Yeah.
Dolphins, and that's, yeah, that's a pretty strong first pick. I'm pretty sure that was first on
Even
my
like
list.
I know Josh Allen didn't have his best game and he came out with a broken nose and things like that, but that's not gonna sort of slow them down. But yeah, no, that Bills team pretty damn good.
Yeah, yeah, Thursday night football, yeah, could be a massacre. Could
All right,
be a massacre. So
I'm gonna go for the
Fangio.
I'm gonna look at the FanDuel one. So Nathan has said all these are all the same apart from the one that's different. And I'm gonna go for the what do you reckon? Should we give Adam or give the one that's different?
Oh, the
Should we do?
Fangio? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
So this one here, uh the difference between FanDuel and Adam's picks is Jags over the Texans.
Oh, they had the Jags beating the Texans.
Yeah.
That is bold. I would not have. I
That
would
is
not have
bold.
taken
I
that
feel like
myself.
I feel like we've done Nathan a disservice there, but we had just had to call that one out.
I actually had
Uh,
that 16th in my list because I did not want to pick that game. I'm always nervous when we play against the
it was
Texans.
like 14th on Adam's list. And I think Adam sent us these in order, but we'll go for the number 2 on Adam's thing, which is he wants the Packers over the Bears.
Packers over the Bears sounds pretty good. Or Packers over the Browns, you mean?
Oh,
Packers over the
Packers over the
Browns.
Browns. Sorry,
Sorry,
Packers over
yeah,
the Browns.
Packers are Browns, and that is Adam third. That was Nathan second. Cool. So we're going Packers over Browns. We're gonna hit what am I gonna hit? What's next on my list? Number 3. I'm gonna ride the hot hand of Baker Mayfield, hopefully, and go Buccaneers over Jets. Adam will hit that, but particularly if Justin Fields is out, and it doesn't feel good for New York Jets fans at the moment.
I don't think it does. There's a lot going on that they need to fix.
The Buccaneers just feel like a different animal, particularly at home.
Yeah.
And my next one after that would be, weirdly, I've got it down. I'm gonna go the Seahawks over the Saints. I'm really not feeling the Saints this year, and the Seahawks showed me something in week 2. I'm gonna go
Interesting.
Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks. I think they've got a really solid defense, and I don't trust Spencer Rattler.
Which is valid. And then I think we'll go to Adam's next pick down, which is Falcons over the Panthers, which I think is self-explanatory. I think if there's an 0-17 team, it's going to be the Panthers this year.
Ooh, well, yeah, I don't think
I,
that, but
I
yeah,
haven't seen anything from the Panthers, anything at all. Like
they
Bryce
they, they
Young,
were they were they were really bad.
he is
But you,
completely regressed. I mean, at least the Saints are like showing sparks sometimes. Like they're not getting.
they, they had the Panthers in that first half against the Cardinals were pretty much like non-existent. Like there was no pulse. The second half, they had I think 3 touchdown drives in a row. So there was at least like there's something there. And Ted McMillan does look like a really high quality wide receiver.
Yeah.
Which is good. It would be nice to draft one of those, wouldn't it? Instead of maybe taking Travis Hunter second overall. So, there you go. There we go. So we're back to. Sorry, I'm not even typing that in.
That
That was
was Falcons over the Panthers.
Falcons over Panthers. And what does FanDuel have as their next
Well,
fave?
let's try and do Nathan a bit of a service. like we've sort of screwed him over the last one. Um, think Nathan should go Commanders over the Raiders. I think this
Commanders
I think this is a bounce back game for the Commanders.
over Raiders. I would say the over under on that's probably pretty good for the Commanders if Daniels is fit, and that is very important. If Daniels is out, then I don't even know who their backup is in Washington. So that could be messy.
I'm gonna go for this one here, only because I think in the past few years these teams have always had a bit of a shootout, a bit of a rivalry, and I quite like watching their games. But I'm gonna go the Cardinals over the 49ers.
Ooh,
That's my risky pick,
hello.
but I
Spelled
think that
Cardinals
could
right
be
this time. That's good. That is
really
not the
cool.
way I'd pick the
That's
game,
it.
obviously.
But yeah, no, curious about that one. But they always have like really good games, and they go to the wire, and quite enjoy them.
Yeah, yeah, they're like a pet team of yours, Thomas.
I do. I quite like little Kyler Murray. Same height as me, so have a little bit of a soft spot for him.
What's, what's somebody saying? Kyler Murray versus Bryce Young has to be the smallest quarterback matchup ever. Just look at these tiny, tiny quarterbacks behind their lines, like trying to move the ball over. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
good.
All
So
right. Next one.
next to you,
I'm going to go Chargers over Broncos. I don't think that Chargers team is losing momentum.
we're starting to see Thomas's pet teams. So the Cardinals and the Chargers are two of your
Are they
like
my
little pet
go-tos?
teams.
Do I go to them a lot?
Yeah. Well, you've talked them up. So there we go.
Okay.
Um,
Let's look at the next FanDuel. So next down the list was Eagles over Rams.
Eagles
I think
over.
that could be a very 50-50 game, that one.
Oh yes, definitely.
I think
Yeah, but I do have it pretty close to there, to be fair.
that's a tough one to call.
So what do they have? Sorry, Eagles over Rams?
Eagles over Rams, yeah.
Eagles over Rams for FanDuel?
Are you
I don't know
rating?
if we've got to catch FanDuel, so I'm liking some of these riskier picks.
Oh, we could completely screw them.
Yeah, yeah. That's what happens when you miss a session, Nathan.
I'm looking at the next ones down. So Colts over Titans.
Colts over Titans. Very much feeling the Colts, very much not feeling the
Um,
Titans. But I
So
will kind of say that AFC South games are always weird. They're always a bit spicy. And Titans
yeah,
Colts games always go down to the wire, always.
and
So
I'm
it'll
so
be interesting.
curious because I feel like I, I do I want to like buy into the Daniel Jones hype yet? I've seen him in the Giants for like 4 years. I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
But on several of my leagues, I've got Joe Burrow as QB,
So you kind of have
and
to
I'm,
pick.
I'm
It's either
sort of
Jake
like
Browning or Carson
I'm not
Wentz.
going. I'm not going Jake Browning because I just don't know. But I'm looking at
Like we
Daniel
haven't we
Jones.
haven't talked we haven't talked about this, but Carson Wentz is a really interesting streaming option
Hmm.
this week against the Bengals. Like that's KOC's, Kevin O'Connell's a really good play
And
caller, and he,
Wentz is a
he could do
good
well.
QB, and he's got good wide receivers, and he's got
Yeah,
he's got Hawkinson, he's got obviously Justin Jefferson,
I
and he's got
genuinely
Madison as
think,
well.
yeah, I genuinely think that Kevin O'Connell gives you a similar tactical advantage to
Yeah,
what Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan do. So if you think of what Shanahan did for Mac Jones last week, that's the same kind of thing you can imagine.
but can you
Potentially,
though?
I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is necessarily going to do it, but you could see Carson Wentz go for 20 plus fantasy
But
points.
honestly, JJ McCarthy looked like a deer in headlights. Like he does not know what's going on.
He played like one good half of football against the Bears, and he really struggled in the rest. So he looks like a rookie. Listen, he looks like a guy who's
Yeah.
only played two professional football games, and that's yeah, that's it because he missed an entire season. So we'll see, but it doesn't help that he's missing the next 3 to 5 weeks with an injury as well. There you go. So I am at the turn here, and my next one talking about that. My next one is the Vikings over the Bengals. Is my
Do you go
next up.
Vikings go Bengals? I think that's a good call.
I think in the same way that I think that well, and you're going to see my pet team maybe. But in the same way, I think that Kevin O'Connell gives you an offensive advantage. I think Brian Flores gives you a great tactical advantage on defense.
Hmm.
And he's going to scramble Browning. Browning threw three bad interceptions against the Jags, and we didn't do anything particularly interesting against him. So if Flores dials up like delayed blitzes and hidden coverages and all this kind of stuff, it's going to throw Browning for a loop, I think. So I've got that, and
You've
then
got
my
you've got some
next.
tough games to pick.
Oh, I know. My next one on top of that is the Chiefs over the Giants. I don't think the Chiefs go 0-3. Calling it now. I just think I just think they're too much like that kind of team. Like they've had two close losses there, and they're just gonna something's gonna click at some point, and they're gonna go like, listen, we were in the Super Bowl last year. We've been in the, like how many championship games? Patrick Mahomes has never not been in a championship game, I think, as a starter.
Well, Travis Kelsey needs to catch.
So
That game was a he caught that ball. That game's in the
true. I
bag.
mean, like this is the thing. They were pretty close to beating the Eagles, even with all of the stuff that's going on. So I
But
don't think they'll slip up against the Giants. I don't think.
I'm sorry, but Travis Kelsey, you've had two rough weeks in the NFL. Like week one, you take out your own player and injure him, who was meant to be like a great wide receiver for your team, and then week two, you
Yeah.
drop a game-winning catch. Not only
So
drop it, because dropping it is actually okay.
yeah.
It's popping it up so it's an interception.
Did you
That is not
see?
good.
God, somebody talked about this as well. The offensive tackle that actually makes the tackle, like pushes your guy out of bounds, who made the pick, it's Josh Sims, isn't it? Like the rookie tackle, who's a big guy, reached 18.3 miles per hour on that run.
Yeah.
Like that is some serious hustle for a big guy. So fair play. Fair play. Right, what does Adam have as his last?
We'll go for the next one down the list, which is he's gone for the Ravens over the Lions.
Oh my goodness, that is such a tough game to call.
I think that's I yeah.
It is outdoor. If you're going to kind of go down that whole golf can't throw outdoor kind of thing, but it's gonna be close. It's
Yeah,
gonna
no, I think
be close.
The
So
Ravens
yeah.
will be in the swing on that one. Are you writing these down and typing them up?
I'm circling them in my wee book so that I know where I'm at.
Fair enough. Next, Nathan will go for the next one down, and it's going to be Steelers over the Patriots.
Steelers over Patriots. Yeah, I
I wouldn't say
again like this is coming back to like pet teams and kind of like and pet annoyances, I suppose. I have the Steelers as being like a potential losing record this year for the first time in like
oh, it
forever.
could be. I know how many.
So I would have the Patriots winning this, but just I think it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be close. And then the last one, that Cowboys Bears game, I believe is the last one to cool.
It is so close.
It
That is
is
such
going
a
to be
tough
so
one.
close. I'm going to go the Bears.
Oof.
I'm going to go the Bears.
I mean, it's kind of a coin flip. I think the Cowboys are playing really well over the first 2 weeks. I think the Bears absolutely just blew
I
up
think
in week two, so hopefully they reset this
I
week.
think there's got to be a reset. There's got to be something that's going to be saying, "Here we go." Um, is it a home game as well? Is it Cowboys at the Bears?
Yeah, the Bears are at home in that one at the
See,
very
and
least.
that's
So
gonna make a difference as well.
yeah,
So home game does make a difference, and I'm just
should
thinking,
should make a should make a difference there. Like the Cowboys, as I say, are playing weirdly well. Dak all of a sudden just looks mobile. He looks like he's got a cannon for an arm. All of a sudden, it's very strange. So.
it might just need us to break off the rust after that first week.
Something that was pointed out to me as well that the Jags have struggled with this for years. Like Doug Peterson and now Liam Cohen are both really good at opening game scripts.
Yeah,
So I'll notice, obviously, watching pretty much every Jags game, that the first 10 to 15 plays look awesome. Like against the Bengals, we looked unbelievable our first two offensive drives because that's what the script is.
you
As
know what
soon
this
as we
is?
got to the as soon as we got to the end of that script, it
Yeah,
started to look really messy, and we started to commit lots of penalties, and guys weren't in the right places, and they weren't running the right routes. And that's when it gets muddy when you start to ad lib it on the field a little bit. And Caleb Williams does the exact same thing. Caleb Williams, when he's playing with the script, is brilliant. The first two drives of that game against the Lions, he was good. The first two drives of the game against the Vikings, he was good. But after he gets to the end of that script, he's all over the show.
no, he
So
is.
that'll be interesting to see.
It is going to be an interesting one, actually. And you know what this is the perfect time for as well? Start and sits, hits and misses.
Hits and misses. So I'm going to
Hit
stop sharing
and
this, and I'm going to share the other. Let's go. So let me first of all hit the wee save button there. This is
oh,
partly
yeah,
why I jotted
yeah.
everything down there just in case I crapped the bed and didn't
You
save that.
just not trust technology. Is that what it is?
I don't man. That's all.
I
Hits
actually
and
have some
misses.
surprising hits and misses today.
I have. I mean, Thomas, look at how much red is on this screen right now. Take it in, particularly on that left hand side. The only hit we had last week was Travis Etienne, and we hit him twice.
Yeah, but Adam can't copy
Um,
me this week. But yeah, we got a lot of
I
misses, right?
I only had Dalton Kincaid. That was my only right pick. You got Henderson and Schultz. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Adam had Stafford only just, but he did have Stafford, Thielen and Henry. You also had one of the worst misses ever here. Russell Wilson was the QB2 on the week,
Yeah.
31.3.
No,
And
that
Tucker
was
Kraft was the number one tight end, 21.4. So
yeah, that was a rough one.
horrendous misses.
Yeah, they were pretty wild, those misses actually. Yeah.
Also, my starts, if we look at this over here, my hits, they barely made 10 points between the four of them. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
listen, don't listen to
yeah.
my hits at all.
We are gonna get better at this in the future, but you know, it's
Yeah,
gonna
at
take
the moment, if I show you our little breakdown over here, at the moment we are batting a very, very low average. Adam actually had a
oh,
fairly successful week, so he's pulled himself up to 44%.
there you
I
go.
mean, we're all sitting at 25% or worse, 19% for myself
Yeah,
and you,
19.
Thomas.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we're not the experts on this. But
It's
hey, let's make it
madness.
better week 3. But to be fair, it's only you and me going through the hits and misses this week, isn't it?
That is it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Um, so we're just going to go through the hits and misses. The other two are going to send theirs in. Adam didn't send his across, did he? No.
no, we can get them off them.
No. We'll get those later in the week. There's no rush on that. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen just so that we see our lovely faces and I can update that spreadsheet later. But
All right,
yeah. I don't think I've ever started, so I think I'm just gonna start.
go for it. But if you've
I'm
got all
just
the
going
same as me, I'm
down.
going to be pissed.
I mean, I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Right. Who am I gonna go with? The thing is, like, who are you allowed to go with at this point? Is
Let's
Baker off
start.
li- is Baker off limits?
No, I would say no.
That's good because I mean that's a matchup. That is a good matchup.
Hmm.
But I do have another one if you want me to go riskier.
Let's start on. Yeah, let's start on your quarterback start and sit. Let's do for it. Who's your hit for quarterback?
My hit, if I'm allowed Baker, my hit's Baker Mayfield.
I'd go for it. I'd allow it.
You know, like,
I'd
well,
say
I'm in such a bad slump. I'm sitting at 19%. So if Baker doesn't play well, I mean, we might as well give up.
I will almost change my like player picks based on who your hits are going to be, and then just bench them that week because I
That
think that
is such a good call. That's such a
actually
good
might
call.
be the best call.
That's it. Like I had JJ McCarthy last week, and I took my own advice and played JJ McCarthy instead of Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence got 25 points, and JJ McCarthy got 2.5 points. So like 10 times as many points.
It's,
So yeah,
I mean, you've got to take your own advice. You got to.
Oh yeah, if you're not taking your own advice, like I started Ja'Cory
What's
Cross Key
what,
Merritt last week, and oh my God, I mean, just like kill me now.
who's your quarterback sit then? So this is who everybody, or who's your miss then on quarterback? So this is who people probably should start based on our record.
Probably my quarterback miss. And I'm toying with a couple in this one, but one of them's your boy. One of them is your little pet project. I'm gonna go because as we talked about earlier, the Chargers we think are legit. I'm gonna go with Bo Nix as my sit. I think Bo Nix is really struggling at the start of the year. I think that
Awesome.
that defense could cook him.
That
Um,
Chargers defense, I was going to say that's legit.
so I'm gonna sit if I've got a better option. This is all. That's kind of the way we should phrase hits and misses. If you have a better option, sit these guys. If you don't have a better option and you've drafted them quite high, you're probably stuck with them. But I
And
would consider benching Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is one of those ones where he will have drafted high. There'll be a lot of hype for him.
Well, do you want to go through it like this? Do you want to give me your quarterbacks as well? We'll
Oh,
work through it like that, and then you can do running backs, and we'll snake that as well.
we'll snake that as well. Yeah, just like the draft. All right. So my quarterback start, my hit, I think is going to be Daniel Jones. Like
Daniel Jones at the
I'm
Titans.
I'm slow to get on the Daniel Jones bandwagon because I've seen him for the past 4 or 5 years at the Giants, and he's had like the occasional really good game, but he's had two 20+ point fantasy games back to back. He
Yeah.
scored 3 rushing TDs. He is pretty much driving and scoring most of the plays. There is, there's something going on right with that Colts offense. So I'm like, he could be a good start. My sit,
I
this,
really want. By the way, I really want Nathan to clip that. If you have a
oh,
terrible week, if he has a terrible week, definitely clip that. I don't know how far we are through the video, but yeah.
my miss is actually, I believe he was either a waiver wire pickup that we said last week, or he was a hit that we said was going to be last week, but it's going to be he's a wild miss. Get rid of Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Not
I
even put
th
him
I
on,
think I
not
think
even
you're right.
not even put him on your bench. I'm saying take him off your team.
I
He was
like I was
I've
I was I
never
was big
seen
in on Gino, but that was a terrible
he
terrible
he
game.
had he had a great game against the Patriots. All right, great. But then you saw the regression. You saw good old Geno Smith coming back there. Do you know how many passes he made past 10 yards?
Oh, hit me with it.
0.
Oh, nice.
Do you know how many he
That's lots
tried?
of stats.
11. 11.
11 attempted. He threw
And
three
one of the
interceptions as
Yeah,
well.
and one of them was an interception, yeah. So
Yeah.
no, he is a big miss. I just don't see what that team's gonna do
Who's
with him.
where's he playing? He's at Washington this week.
Yeah. And
Washington.
that's a
Yeah.
tough defense. So that's gonna be a difficult one for him as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong miss. Like it.
Yeah. Running backs. This one is gonna be an interesting hit because I don't know if it's gonna be a successful hit, but I'm gonna go Tootin for the Jaguars.
Facial Tootin as a hit. Oh
Yeah,
man, look at the back on Thomas back to back weeks that you've gone for Jags running backs. I mean, this is
yeah.
just
But
inspired.
but there's a reason, Bigsby's gone. He has stepped up as the secondary back row, and he made a definite impact as well.
Did, did,
Highly
did you see it? Did
productive.
you see his touchdown? Did you see the lovely like step that he
Yeah,
did on the touchdown?
no,
Oh,
and this is what, like, there was a good combination of rushing and receiving ability. He was absolute. I thought it was great. He could be one of these high upside flexes that you could put in your team.
yep. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And again, I had him in the waiver wire rundown, the short yesterday. If you haven't watched the short, go and watch the short. And yeah, I do think like I'm actively trying to pick him up in several leagues.
I
So
I tried to pick him up in several leagues. He's
let's
not available. Other people have got to him too quickly, which is really annoying.
let's see
My
what
miss,
waivers do tomorrow. Let's see.
yeah, my running back miss. I'm going to go for a Jerome Ford for Cleveland. That is such an inconsistent running back committee system. Dylan Sampson looked good.
Yeah,
Judkins.
Judkins really got a lot of touches when he came
It's
in
a
there
lot
as
of
well.
touches. Jerome Ford, who was previously at the start of the season, was maybe going to be the number one RB, is now sort of seen like a lot of his snaps drop off. I think there's too much inconsistency there to say he's going to be he should be on your team. I would call him a miss, and I'd say
Available.
take him off your lineup.
And they're at home against the Packers as well.
Exactly. So there's that tough defense, which has really stepped up this season.
No, that's completely fair. Yeah, yeah. Both of your misses weirdly are like potentially droppable players
Oh
this
yeah,
week in game
they they
management. So
are they are. Don't have them on your team if possible.
yeah. Right. So my running backs. What way am I going to work with this? What way am I going to work with this? I think I think I've got some risky hits on this side. I'm gonna go for an interesting one because he's getting a lot of the work with Minnesota. Minnesota didn't do very well last week, but Jordan Mason against the Bengals. I think Jordan Mason. I think they're gonna go to the ground a bit more. I think Jordan Mason's gonna get a lot of touches, and we saw with the Jags running backs. The Jags running backs had a decent amount of success against the Bengals defense. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jordan Mason.
Nice, I like it.
Do you think like it's weird how many touches he's getting, and now as well, I think don't want to say that Aaron Jones is out, but I think he's suffering with an injury as well.
Mm.
So I think he's banged up, and I think like the more time that Aaron Jones misses, the more that Jordan Mason's just going to start to take over that role completely. Um, my miss my miss is a bit of a buyer beware, and it seems like I'm picking on the Broncos, but it's RJ Harvey. Because
Just
people
on,
might still be thinking about starting RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey has not been getting the touches.
yeah.
He has not been producing with the touches. J.K. Dobbins still looks like the presumed starter, and they're up against a really good defense. So if you're thinking this might be Harvey's week for breakout, because I've said that he's not going to break out, he probably will.
Yeah, no, it might do. Probably best having you on your
Yeah,
team.
but I'm just warning people against maybe betting on the breakout.
But you're right about Aaron Jones. Just another injury update. He is suffering a hamstring injury and may not be available to play week 3. So keep an eye on that because that Mason pick could be a really good one.
Yeah, he could be in line for 25 plus touches in,
Yeah.
in week 3. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. For wide receiver, oh man, there's a couple of real good ones here. There's a couple of real good ones. I'm going to tell you who both of them are that I'm kind of juggling with. Ted McMillan, who had a bit of a breakout in week 2,
Hmm.
and Roma Dunze, who just seems to be the guy for the Bears. I'm going to go
He
with
is.
Roma Dunze. I think he
That's a good one.
looks really, really good.
He's
Um,
got that. He's got a good connection with Caleb Williams, and there's like flashes of that last season as well.
yeah, he seems to be getting targeted a lot more this year with Keenan Allen not being there, and yeah, I think does he have 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks? He's looking really good. If he gets targeted against a suspect Cowboys defense, then yeah, that could be fun. And for my misses, oh man, am I gonna like this is the thing. I kind of have like ones penciled in, and then I'm like, I'll make a gut call at the time. This is kind of like in line with you picking on the Jets in week 1. I'm gonna like Cortland Sutton. Everybody thought was going to be this great superstar, hyper targeted wide receiver. Had a connection with Knicks last year and all this kind of stuff. Nobody has a clue what Knicks is doing. Nobody has a clue what
No,
Peyton's plan is on offense.
no.
And Cortland Sutton's not getting the ball. So I'm benching Cortland Sutton in every league that I'm in this week. I've got him in several.
And I've got Cortland Sutton in a few as well, and I'm like, I don't want to play him. I think you're absolutely right on that one. I don't think that Denver offense has that identity again. Like he looked great at a lot of last season. Everyone's like, yeah, he's getting 14 passes a game, to close out the season, but that did ultimately nothing.
So obviously, everybody that's watching this, go out and bet the over on the
Yeah,
Bengals or
I
on the
would
Broncos.
take,
Sorry, the Broncos are going to absolutely steamroll the
yeah, and
Chargers.
Cortland Sutton's going to have the best game of the season, 250 yards, 3 TDs.
Yeah.
He's going to get you 40 points on your benches.
But
Uh,
Bo Nick's 500-yard passing game is going to be like carried off on people's shoulders. Yeah, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to
yeah.
happen.
These gut feels we have, they're based on good intentions and right information, but just on game day, anything could happen.
That's it.
But my
Um,
wide receiver, I'm going to go on a similar vein on sort of like breakout week twos, who's going to be a good for my hit this week, and I'm going to go Wan'Dale Robinson for the New York Giants.
mm,
Russell Wilson seemed to find his feet against the Cowboys. That was a big game away at the Cowboys and had a huge throwing game, a lot of TDs, a lot of points on the board. And Wan'Dale Robinson was no different. Everybody knows Malik Neighbors got like 40 odd points on the team. But then Wan'Dale Robinson, 142 yards, 2 TDs. Yeah,
I actually missed that breakout. That is crazy because he
that
should have
is,
been on our waiver list.
yeah, he is
Right now.
a he's gonna be a big part of the Giants offense. He is the number 2 wide receiver there. You know, Malik Neighbors is obviously the focal point for defenses. You saw him in double coverage a lot against the Cowboys. So Wan'Dale Robinson could continue to see pretty much a solid share of work, especially if Russell Wilson's getting his confidence in his receivers now and is
Yeah,
happy
the,
with
the, the
taking the
thing
ball
is,
a bit more.
do you think that Russell Wilson's like 450-yard game? Do you think that's sustainable? Like, where do we think? Do we
I
think
think
he's more week one Russell Wilson barely able to throw a ball against the Commanders, or week two Russell throwing all over the park against the Cowboys?
it's gonna, even if it's halfway, even if we say he does half as well, that's still 72 yards, 71 yards, and a TD, which
Yeah,
is
it'd be
13
nice.
points. So,
It'd be nice.
still a good play on that one.
Yeah.
And my sit is actually Rashad Bateman for the Baltimore Ravens. That Ravens
Interesting,
offense
interesting.
is focused around Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, and Bateman is just inconsistent. You know, he might get the occasional sort of splash throw from Lamar Jackson, which is just, when all the other sort of targets are out the window. So,
Yeah,
you know, this is a risky miss because it's boom or bust. He might get a
yeah. He
massive
could have that
he
one
might
really big play.
he might get like that massive, 40-yard bomb or, a slight touchdown sort of play there, but he's just too inconsistent, and I'd say give him a miss. There's,
Yeah,
when you look at depth charts and wide receivers and things like that, there's a lot more consistent wide receivers that you could get
yeah, yeah.
available.
I think I would only be playing him if like you're out of options in your
Yeah,
flex and you really just want a Hail Mary kind of target. Because yeah, as you say, they're very unpredictable. I think like the stat I saw as well was Devontae Walker, who's like their fourth or fifth string wide receiver, whatever he is, has had 3 catches in the NFL. All have been touchdowns, and that's it. That's all he's had, and this is his second year in the NFL. So that's kind of what the Ravens are. They're just a
yeah.
really erratic like mess at wide receiver.
And like with DeAndre Hopkins as well, I think Lamar Jackson's trusting him a bit more. He's become a bit of a safety net. So
Yeah,
Rashad Bateman
yeah.
is not, he's just not targeted enough to be consistent. I mean, Mark Andrews has gone downhill and isn't as consistent, but I'm just saying Rashad Bateman. But going into
But
tight end, actually.
like sorry, like one of the pieces of fantasy advice you would get in the off season is follow the money. So like see what players got paid, those players are going to get the ball. Bateman's kind of been the opposite. Like he got the bag. He got
Yep.
a big ton of money in the off season. I forget what the contract was, like 3 for 36 or something. He got a good chunk of money. He's not being used, so it's just really strange.
Not being targeted. No, exactly. Tight ends. I know we talked about Mark Andrews, and you'll be surprised, but Mark Andrews is not one of my picks on my hits or misses. But my hit is Dwayne Johnson, New Orleans. Uh, Pretty much just a target machine. There's not a lot.
Jawan Johnson. Sorry, I thought you said
One.
Dwayne, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
No, Jawan Johnson. No, but he has been a target machine for these first 2 games. There's not a lot going in that New Orleans offense outside of Alvin Kamara and Jawan Johnson, and he is racking up the targets. So I would say, get him in your lineups and play him if he's available on your waiver wires. Get him going in. he's had a monster
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
weeks.
I grabbed him in a couple of leagues last week, and yeah, I was not disappointed. I've got to say he was
Keep him going. Might be
pretty good.
tight end number one by the end of the year if this keeps up. Could be. If it keeps up, if it stays consistent. And then my miss for this week, and you've already hit a Denver player, so I'm going to do one for my miss is Evan Ingram.
Yeah,
He's been great fancy NFL player in the past, but this inconsistent offense, we don't know what's going on with Bro Nix. We don't know what Peyton's doing. Uh, you know, and there's a lot of competition for targets on that team as well. So I wouldn't play him. But this is also one of those ones where I'm saying drop him. The
yeah.
Broncos might find their way. I'd say if get yourself another tight end, get yourself Juwan Johnson, get yourself on there, get somebody else in the lineup, but sort of bench him until that sort of offense finds a bit of rhythm. You might miss him on a good week, but just
That's
hold
that,
on.
that's it. I think all of the Broncos guys that we've hit on are all like they're wait and see guys. They're like we don't really know what they're doing with RJ Harvey or Cortland Sutton or Evan Ingram. Like the target share hasn't been there, and until they have a plan for them, just keep them on your bench.
Yeah,
Okay, you might miss the week that Evan Ingram randomly catches two touchdowns, but if that's the week that he gets like 12 targets, then you go like, right, okay, I can play him now. Like they're
it's
going to
something.
target
Yeah,
him next week. So yeah, you kind of play the waiting game and then just hit them the following week. So what was I going to say here? Hold on.
you just got tight ends to finish, don't you?
I've only just got tight ends to finish. What I kind of want to see is Isaiah Likely when is he ready to return? He could be ready to return next week, which you kind of know what my miss is going to be off the back of that. But anyway, I'll go with my miss first. And my miss is going to be Mark Andrews for the Ravens. You hit on Mark Andrews a little bit, but yeah, he hasn't been getting targets. He doesn't look explosive, and Isaiah Likely coming back just makes that even muddier. Like it just seems like Isaiah Likely's then going to come in and get another five targets. So where's Mark Andrews going to get the ball? So yeah, yep, he's my miss against they're at home against the Lions. Could be a big game. Just to try.
He is nursing that foot injury, so he might be coming back.
Yeah, it says he could be ready to return in week three, Isaiah Likely, um, but yeah, either way, I think Mark Andrews is a risky player at this point.
He's just not
Yeah,
handling that ball. Since that drop in the playoffs, he's just not done well.
yeah. Again, I have him in a dynasty league. I picked him up in a dynasty in a startup last year, and then he was rubbish the first half of the season, and I tried to trade him for the longest time, and obviously couldn't get rid of him. So I'm stuck with him now, but I did manage to pick up, like literally pick up, like somebody dropped Kyle Pitts, so I just picked him up. So, um, so I'm just playing Kyle Pitts now. That's where my life is as a Mark Andrews truther. Um, but yeah, so that's fun. And my hit at tight end, I hit at tight end. Who's it going to be? I'm going to go the other side of the ball in the Dallas-Chicago matchup. He got a lot of targets last week. Jake Ferguson, I think, could have a good game. Could have a good game. Again, I kind of hope because I have him in a league as well.
Yeah.
But I do genuinely think he does get hyper targeted, and if he gets starts to get targeted in the red zone the way he was a couple of years ago, you just need one of those catches, and that's a hit. That's a
I'll
hit.
tell you what, I want to do an honorable mention, and obviously not have this one, but I like that guy, Scatterbo or Scatterbo, whatever his name is.
Cam Scatterbo, he runs like a man possessed.
He
He's an animal.
exactly that is exactly why I liked him so much.
Oh
Because
God,
he runs like a man
because
possessed. He just does not go down.
because he's you, because he's what
He
you would
just
be if you were in the
he's
NFL.
he is so good at just taking contact and just bowling through people. Like
He seeks it out. He actively seeks out contact. It's the way that Leonard Fournette used to play back at the start of his career.
I'll tell you what, his carries are going up. He's got a TD in every game. He's I think he's going to be the RB1 in that Giants team before the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think in a matter of weeks, as long as he stays fit, like this is the thing, he's putting his body on the line. And he
I
did,
reckon.
I think he did have an injury in training camp because of what of the way he plays. So we'll see. If he can stay on the field, then yeah.
Yeah. But you can tell he just gets everybody around him hyped when he runs, takes a big contact like that. It's exciting to watch. Like even if you're just like watching the games, you're like, I want to see what this guy does with the ball.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's exactly what you want. That's kind of why like Bashal Tutin's such an exciting prospect for a lot of guys to pick up in fantasy. You
Oh,
want those running backs. You want a running back who can take the ball and cut step and just go 70 yards. You don't really want like the plodding Najee Harris carries the ball 30 times for like 3 yards a clip
exactly.
kind of player.
Exactly. That's what it is.
It's just the way it works. It's the way
Yes.
it works.
But yeah, no, get our lineup set for week 3. How did you finish up in your fantasy league?
I don't want to talk about it, Thomas.
How many you win?
I'm
7?
in 8 leagues,
How many did you win?
3. So
Ouch.
I am sitting like winless in just so many leagues at the moment. Well, one, two, three. Well, I'm sitting winless in 4 leagues. Half of my leagues I don't have a win, which is a scary position to be in. But one of my leagues I do have 2 wins, so that's a good position to be in.
I am I am in 6 leagues and I won 4 of them this week.
That's
I'm
good. That's a good feeling.
happy with that. Pretty happy with that ratio.
Yeah.
But
Especially if you like spread out the players, and you didn't just pick the same players for each league, obviously. So
no, there's not a lot of
yeah.
consistency along my teams. I think there's a few leagues where I've got some consistent players like Carl Pitts. I had Joe Burrow on a couple. Um, but apart from that, I don't think there's really a lot of like crossover between anything going on in the rest of them.
What about this? Were there any players that like screwed you over this week?
So let me have a so I'm going to look at my losses because I'd say those are the ones where I got screwed over. Sort of big busts are Fantasy Dynasty League that we've got going on. Um, Another massive thing. Even though he had a 300% production increase in production and fantasy points, um, AJ Brown,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he is
It's not looking good.
not looking good for him. I mean, they're winning, so you don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're not going to change the way they play until things start going wrong.
He's just got to work on his blocking. Like that's it.
I mean,
That's the way they're going to play. He's just going to have to block.
that's pretty much it. Then pretty much, I mean, that was the big one on the Dynasty League where I lost that one. You know, the team was just bad average. Like, my wide receivers, AJ Brown, Lad McConkey, they didn't get over 10 points. Hollywood Brown didn't get, he was on 5 points. So Cole Kmet, the tight end, has pretty much dropped off a cliff in that new offense. So there was a few people I was just like, you're not getting me the points that I need. Um, and then looking in sort of my other league, Josh Allen didn't have a monster game, even though they put up monster points, 30 to
Yeah.
10, and he got 11 points. No rushing TDs there. Cortland Sutton, as you already called out, 1.1 points in this league. Um, you know, those sort of the guys are the ones that I'm kind of worried about. And as I said, Carl Pitt's not having a big game. But I'll tell
Do,
you
do,
what,
yeah, sorry. Do you want to hear an absolute horror story? So I went into a league and put up 130 points, which is quite good for that league.
yeah,
It's a 14 team dynasty league, so 130 points should
that's
win.
very good. Yeah,
The guy that beat me, 135 points, and a combo of Mac Jones,
nice,
Javonte Williams,
nice.
and Devontae Adams, all getting like over 20 points.
Yeah, that's
I mean, what do you do at that
yeah.
point?
That Mac Jones was a waiver wild pickup last week. You know, Devonte Adams, I can be okay. That's fair. That's like a he's on the flex spot. Javonte Williams, that's not someone he played week one. That's someone he's just added that week two and has got
20,
very lucky.
25 points, my goodness. So that was one horror story. I lost another matchup by 4 points. Let's see what transpired in that one. So I had Brian Thomas. If he just puts his body on the line
He
once,
Brian Thomas is going to screw off a load of leads here because he was quite highly drafted. He was in
yeah.
the
But
he
to be
was
honest, again, I didn't score that badly in that. Again, this is a 14 team
yeah,
redraft, and I scored 122 points. You're like, yeah,
that's
you
pretty
should
good.
win that
Yeah,
matchup. 126 points, and let's see if there's any like weird. Malik Neighbors, 37.7 points against me.
Malik Neighbors
I mean,
had
that
a
is
monster game.
Ramondre Stevenson, 21.2 points against me. Chris Olave, 11.4. These are the things that just like hurt your soul.
So this is the thing because I had, and I think it was on one of my hits, or was it my misses? Was it Trayvon Henderson? And it's like everybody is similar to what you were saying with RJ Harvey, you know, even similar to like Caleb Johnson on the, on the Steelers. It's sort of like we're waiting for them to break out into their roles, into their positions. And Henderson isn't going to get that upside when Stevenson's still looking so good.
Yeah,
Stevenson's playing like he's got a man chasing his position, and he does. So
it
Stevenson,
doesn't.
he's got he's got a fire under him.
Well, this is something that talked about in the preseason as well. Everybody started like hyper drafting
Yeah,
Trayvon Henderson in fantasy drafts, and a lot of people would like try to throw water on that a little bit because Stevenson's a really good running back. If
he's a
if he's
great
if he's
runner.
fit, he's a really
Yeah,
physical, fast running back. He doesn't have great hands, but he's just a really good running back.
his hands were brilliant on Sunday.
So it's one of those. It's
Mm.
just one of those things that people kind of wrote him off, and he dropped all the way to the bottom of fantasy drafts. Some people
Yeah.
picking him up in like the ninth or tenth round. That's the kind of picks
People,
that win you fantasy leagues.
I think a lot of people, and I must admit, I've done this a couple of times as well. You get caught up in the sort of the preseason hype.
Yeah,
You sort of look at a player like, Henderson had such a good preseason camp,
yep.
but he's still not the number one guy. And I think everybody sort of drafts him thinking this guy will be the number one guy in week 2 or 3 and things like that. And they
It's
bank their league on it.
it's true. Like people have been spoiled a little bit at fantasy running back recently, and that rookie running backs just tend to take off. Like
Oh, yeah.
either they're the guy year one, or they're never the guy.
Yeah.
So so yeah, there's been so many hits like Bucky Irving and obviously Bijan's there and all this kind of stuff. So when there's that many hits, everybody will just track their fantasy like rookie running backs. Like Caleb Johnson went higher than Jalen Warren in fantasy drafts, for example, as well.
Exactly.
And
A lot
and
higher.
Caleb Johnson's like third or fourth on that depth chart. So it's just
Yeah. Which
one of those
I feel
things.
like every fancy app lied to me whenever I drafted him so high. I was like,
Yeah,
what is,
yeah.
yeah.
He was sitting his ADP was sitting at about round 5 or 6, which is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
nuts.
Higher than Warren. And I think everyone's just like, he is going to step up and be the number one guy. And that's it. There's some things we whiffed on.
Yeah.
Obviously,
There's
if it's a
something
running back
all
that's
things.
drafted in the first round, like Genty, he's obviously going to be the number one guy. They're not going to have him beside, they're not going to put him into a running back system that's already got elite players.
Yeah, but likewise, tread with caution in that kind of scenario because one of the things that the Raiders are worst at is run blocking, and you see it all the time. Like Genty had, I forget how many, he had so many carries against the Chargers. He had at least 11 carries or something like that. But he's being hit behind the line every single time.
I think he's getting
So
like, I think his average was 2.7 yards a carry.
yeah, so no matter how good the running back is, you're drafting like the best running back in college. If if he's getting met before he gets up ahead of steam, he can't do anything. No running back can do anything with that. So that's another like tread with caution with those kind of guys as well. I'm seeing some crazy trades at the moment for Bill Cross Key Merritt. Somebody, what was it? I saw one where somebody had offered somebody RJ Harvey and a first.
in
for
the
cross
dynasty.
team merit. Yeah, so
I mean,
I
that
mean,
could be
I've
quite
seen him traded a couple of times for a lot, for like
a,
first round picks are going for this guy.
I mean, that could be good. I think there's a few opportunities for people to trade high right now on players who aren't doing what they should be. You know, people like AJ Brown, who is a top 10 wide receiver.
Yep.
He is not getting the ball. He's not getting fed the ball, but his name is going to carry. You could probably get yourself a good sort of, you know, top 15 running back or top 15 or two top 15 wide receivers for his name alone on
Yep.
people assuming that he's going to be good. And so, sort of like, I would sell him, but you could sell him
Yep.
quite high because of his name, you know, just sort of get
It's
what you
true.
can from him. And then sort of people who are coming up who are probably going to be established, as you said, like Jordan Mason, you know,
Yep.
with that ankle injury, if you don't have him, you could probably trade quite cheap for him and have a good, definite impact on your team. So have a look at the people who have him. They might need someone. Look for people with that Joe Burrow.
Sorry. Do you ever have it where there's a spider in your house, but you know exactly where it is, and then you lose sight of it? That's what I'm experiencing at the moment. There's a spider somewhere, and it's about like this size.
I would set the house on fire.
Yeah, I might as well. Normally, Kilda's on spider duty, but she's asleep on the sofa. So yeah, we might as well move out. I guess
No,
that's it.
no, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think that's a good place to finish it there.
That is. I think we've hit a lot of stuff, and we're sitting at about 20 to
Oh,
10.
that's quite
So
well.
yeah, that is our week two recap and our week three preview. Based off our hits and misses, don't take our advice, but yes, thanks for following along, and hopefully we hit this week.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody.